How do I earn $25+ an hour on Doordash and Uber Eats? If this is a question that you've asked yourself before, and maybe you're just interested in hitting a bigger milestone with your hourly earnings, then watch this video. I've been back on the Doordash platform for several months now, and I have been consistently able to earn over $25 an hour on every shift. Whether I'm working 3 hours or 8 hours, I've still been able to hold this number, and I want to tell you how you can do it too. Before I get into the tips, if you're interested in maximizing your earnings on your side hustles and just want to learn about side jobs in general, you should subscribe because that's what I talk about here. Let's just jump right into it with the first tip, which is I take shopping orders, and I would recommend that you try taking shopping orders as well. I've talked to a few different gig workers on DoorDash and Uber, and I see a lot of people are afraid of doing the shopping orders. These are the shop and deliver orders where you pick up from a grocery store, or there's other stores like pharmacies, Walgreens, CVS that are really common for shopping orders as well. You do have to shop for the items, check out, and then deliver the order to the customer. And this is somewhat newer on the platform. It's not nearly as simple and easy as just the standard food delivery, which has been on the platform since the very beginning. But what I've come to realize from consistently working on DoorDash and Uber for the past several months is these orders actually can be a gold mine, and a lot of people seem to avoid them. Here's why I think you should try them out. They have bigger upfront pay, usually. It's more common, at least, to see the bigger dollar amount on the upfront offer screen. And yes, just like always, there are plenty of shopping orders that I get offered that I do not take because they are not enough pay for the time that it takes to complete the order. But overall, you see a lot higher offers with this type of order. Customers tend to be willing to tip more on these orders than they do on standard food delivery. And it kind of makes sense. If they're ordering groceries, they are aware that the person has to shop for their order and then drop it off to them. They're more likely to pay for this service because they see it as more work and as more of a different service they are being provided rather than someone just picking up their food and dropping it off to them. Again, not all customers will think the same, and just like on food delivery, some customers will be very generous while some will do $0 tips. You just wade through the orders and you pick the ones that make sense. That's also helped me that I recommend you try is also leveraging stacking shopping orders. DoorDash and Uber both will send out double stacked offers on shopping orders just like they do for food delivery, but kind of like what I was saying before, this can be even more lucrative because they tend to be higher paying offers in the first place. If I have a $10 shopping order that's stacked with another $10 shopping order, I could get one offer for $20 that might only take me 45 minutes to complete, and now I'm locking in a nice rate where I know I'm going to be set for that amount of time at that rate. Because there's only a few grocery stores in any given area, it's also pretty easy to just kind of recognize the pattern of which ones are busy. And then when you complete a task, kind of moving back towards that direction of the grocery store, and you will usually get another offer really quickly. I've also noticed in my experience, I get a lot of grocery deliveries that are not delivering very far away, which to me is a priority because I really like to focus on not putting too many miles on my car. So I like to look at the dollars to mile ratio before I look at the dollars to time. This is something I do in my opinion. It will be a different situation for everyone. I get tons of shopping orders that don't deliver very far away. And my thinking behind this is a lot of people are paying for the service of not having to grocery shop themselves and having the convenience of all of that getting dropped off to their house. And they're more motivated by that fact than they are just the laziness of not wanting to drive to the store. Food delivery could be a little different. If someone lives 1 mile away from a restaurant, they might be more willing to go just drive and pick it up themselves and not pay the extra service fee on DoorDash. But for groceries, they don't really care how far away they live. I've delivered so many orders that are 1 to 5 minute drive from the grocery store. They just don't want to grocery shop. So it's a little bit of a different kind of value proposition of what the customer is getting and then how much they're willing to pay for that service and convenience. The next tip holds true for any kind of orders you take. Multi-app if you want to increase your earnings. This is the easiest thing and the quickest way that I was able to take my earnings just I'm hovering around $23, $24 an hour pretty regularly. And now I'm consistently making about $27 to $29 an hour. And then every now and then I'll have a $30+ an hour shift. and then every now and then drop back down to about 25 an hour. But I'm still able to not drop below that 25 threshold. But this is thanks to multi-apping. When I first started out, I was only doing Doordash and quickly realized that I was totally missing out on not having Uber at least on as well. So this is what I recommend you do. Make sure you're signed up to both apps. Every time you're working, run both apps at the same time. And it's pretty easy. As soon as you get an offer you like, you can easily pause on the other app. I get a Doordash order that I like, then I accept that. I can go offline with Uber and make sure that I can complete this order first. And then I usually like to go back online when I'm almost done completing the delivery. Or you could keep it on if you want constantly in the background, but it can be a little bit distracting to have both apps active at the same time while you're busy on an assignment, but you can kind of use your own discretion on that and see what works best for you. I'm now active on Doordash, Uber, and Grubhub, and I run all three of these apps every time I do a shift, and I just see who gives me the best offer first. Obviously, this is maximizing the amount of offers you're going to receive, thus increasing the chance that you're going to get a good offer on one of the three platforms. The platforms are a little bit different too, so I can do a separate video describing each platform individually. Next tip is to make notes of patterns in your marketplace. So this is going to vary heavily from person to person and market to market. The more shifts that you do, the more that you'll pick up on patterns. And this is the most valuable thing you can do because it's customized to you. And I can't really sit here and tell you what is going to be the best way you can work to take advantage of the patterns. For example, I used to work on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which tend to be the busiest days, at least in my market, and I'm pretty sure as a whole. I used to work on all three of these days, split shifts. So work a lunch and then a dinner shift. But slowly I started to realize after seeing the kind of orders that were coming in, on Saturdays and Sundays, by the time I was logging off around 2 o'clock, there was still consistent orders coming in, and I kind of felt like I was missing out. In the mornings, I wasn't seeing a super high volume, so I just adjusted my strategy to only go out once and not split up the two shifts on Saturdays and Sundays. I'll go out around 12 to 1 p.m., and then I'll stay out until between 7 and 9, depending on if it's busy or if I'm just too tired and want to go home. Switched my method to having split shifts, 2 shifts in one day, to just going out and doing one big shift, and I was able to make way more money. So I would try that. If you're not currently doing that, especially on Saturdays and Sundays, I would honestly not bother with working a split shift if your schedule is open and you want to prioritize door dashing. I would just do one big shift, and whether you want to go out for 4 hours or 10 hours, I would just do it all in one chunk, and I would probably try to go out around 12 noon and then stay out till whenever you want to stay out until whenever it's busy. The next one is probably the most important tip on this list, and that is treat DoorDash, Uber, Grubhub like a business. The reality is most people do not take this work that seriously. They do it for some quick cash on the side or when they're desperate or when they might have an emergency expense that has come up. Good thing about that is it's very easy to get on the opposite side of that and be someone who takes this seriously and treats this side gig like a real business. If you are ready to work consistently and give effort to this and go the extra mile, you will be rewarded for it. I'll put a quick example here, but as you can see, this customer was so happy to thank me for taking his order. It was a larger shopping order, and let me know that a few dashers prior to me had been assigned the order and then bailed on it. Waiting then a very long time to get his order because it kept cycling through to different dashers. You can see the reward was really big in the end. He already tipped pretty nicely up front and then tipped me even more after because he was generous, but also thankful for having someone go the extra mile. A good thing about this work is that it is very easy to stand out. There have been multiple times when I've dropped off customers' grocery orders specifically. They have thanked me in person or over the chat saying, "Thank you for communicating with me, telling me when my items were out of stock, and then asking me what I wanted." Things like that really are important to people, and they recognize when someone is going above and beyond to make sure they get the item that they wanted or get a refund if that's what they prefer, instead of just doing the quick and easy way because you're just trying to get out of the store as fast as possible. So I can tell you it's worth it, and saving that little bit of time to not really communicate about substitutions or issues that you might have at the grocery store doesn't actually pay off in the end. Doing things like communicating extra with your customer while you're shopping, communicating at the drop-off if you're confused about their instructions, even dropping the groceries off inside someone's door. Doing things like that will help maximize your earnings, and it's always great to do a nice thing for someone. At least for me, I love helping people. I think it's great to kind of go the extra mile, and people really do appreciate it, and they will let you know either with words or with an extra tip, and a lot of times both. Last tip for today is don't get lazy and stop tracking your expenses. Kind of ties into treating this like a business and taking it seriously. If you really want to maximize your earnings and make sure that you're doing all of this correctly, you want to track all of your expenses, all of your business miles. Be diligent about this to make sure that you're really maximizing the profit you're bringing home, not just the revenue coming in. If you are an independent contractor and own a business, you have a lot more steps that you have to take as compared to someone with a W-2 job who can just show up to work, get their payments on a bi-weekly schedule, and that's that. This is a lot more work, but it's very worth it in the end. Track all of your miles to make sure that you can take the standard deduction. You can itemize your expenses. I don't really recommend doing this, but everyone has their own method that will work better for them. For me, I just do the standard deduction, which I believe for this year, it's 70 cents per mile. So if you track all of your business miles, then you can very easily do the math on how many miles you're driving and then what the tax deduction is for that. So then you will only pay taxes on your profits. If you're not tracking your miles, then you're just going to be paying more in taxes and not taking advantage of the deduction for using your personal vehicle for business. So that will do it for my tips for today. All the things I would recommend you doing if you want to consistently increase your earnings and make sure that this is worth your time as a full-time or as a side business. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up to help boost the video. I would really appreciate it. If you love learning about DoorDash, Uber, and side gigs in general, then this is the place for you. You can click here to watch some of my ride-along videos if you want to see what it actually looks like working on a shift.